The Aether is a mod which needs no introduction. It's been around since modding in Minecraft was even a thing, and still stands as one of the greatest mods of all time. I'll also be showcasing another mod called the Aether Lost Content, which is an add-on that reintroduces some of the scrapped and unused concepts from the original Aether mod. So, let's begin. To begin your journey in the Aether, you will need to construct a portal out of glowstone, identical in shape to a nether portal. Instead of a flint and steel to light the nether portal, you will use a water bucket to light the Aether portal. Once you enter the portal, you will spawn somewhere in the sky of the beautiful Aether dimension, and you will have a book of lore and a golden parachute in your inventory. The book of lore I would consider essential for any survival, as you can place any item from the Aether mod into it to learn more about the item. If you should lose this book, another can be crafted with a normal book and an ambrosium shard. The golden parachute can be right-clicked in midair to gently glide down to some land to begin your journey. In your inventory, there will be a small cloud button which can be clicked to open the Aether inventory. This is where any collected cosmetics or trinkets from the mod can be worn in order to receive special enhanced abilities. Most items and blocks in the Aether function the same as they do in the overworld, with a few notable exceptions. Certain vanilla light sources cannot be placed or be lit in the Aether. Normal torches and lanterns cannot be placed. A campfire or jack-o'-lantern will immediately be extinguished upon placing down. And candles cannot be lit. Flint and steel and fire charges will not be able to set anything on fire except for soul sand, netherrack, and hellfire stone. Unenchanted vanilla tools all mine equally fast as the player's hand and are slower than the Aether tools. Until the gold dungeon boss is defeated, beds cannot be slept in but can be used to set a new spawn point. Clocks are frozen to midday, but the day-night cycle continues in the overworld. There is no way to place lava in the Aether except inside a cauldron. Using lava buckets produces aerogel, leaving the player with an empty bucket. Vanilla grass blocks and leaves take on a bluish-green color in the Aether. Falling off an island or flying below Y level 0 will teleport the player to the overworld at the same X and Y coordinates. Skyroot trees can be harvested to obtain the universal wood type of the mod. There are also golden oak trees which, when harvested with a high tier tool, will drop golden amber. This is used in some later recipes. Ambrosium ore can be found commonly where there is stone in the Aether. Mining this ore will drop ambrosium shards which act as coal in the Aether. Ambrosium can be used as fuel in vanilla recipes as well as fuel in all Aether functional block recipes. Due to vanilla torches not working in the Aether, ambrosium torches are recommended for dark areas. There are 4 tiers of material available, the weakest being skyroot tools and weapons, then holystone tools and weapons, then there is zanite, which is the Aether's version of iron. Zanite gems can be made into tools and armor that increase strength when used. Zanite can also serve as a substitute for iron in the shield recipe. Gravitite is the strongest material available, and it is the equivalent of diamond in the Aether. Gravitite ore must be placed into an altar, which we'll look at later, and enchanted to get enchanted gravitite. This block can then be used to create armor, tools, and weapons. When it is powered by redstone, it will also float in the air. The tools and weapons also have this property in that any mob hit with the sword will be levitated upwards, and blocks right-clicked with the appropriate tool will be levitated into the air, and when the full armor set is worn, you will get an extra high jump. There are 3 functional blocks that are necessary for some of the base game of the Aether. The altar is crafted with 8 holystone and 1 zanite gem. It's used to enchant items and repair armor. It is powered by ambrosium shards. The freezer is crafted with 5 holystone, 1 ice stone, and 3 skyroot planks. It can freeze various items such as air clouds or water buckets. Its source of power is ice stone. Ice stone can be found commonly wherever there is stone in the Aether. The incubator is crafted with 8 holystone and 1 ambrosium torch. This can be used to incubate moas, which we'll get to later. They use ambrosium torches as fuel. There are many other tools and weapons that can be obtained in the dimension. Some of them are craftable, but some must be found as loot in some of the structures of the mod. A golden dart shooter is crafted with 1 golden amber and 2 skyroot planks. This is a ranged weapon that can shoot golden darts. Golden darts are crafted with a feather, a skyroot stick, and a golden amber. It works similarly to how a bow shoots, but it shoots much faster. Enchanting it in an altar will also turn it into an enchanted dart shooter and improve its attack power. Golden darts must also now be enchanted in the altar, turning them into enchanted darts to be used with the enchanted dart shooter. The poison dart shooter is crafted with a golden dart shooter and an acorn petal. Acorn petals are obtained from an acorn plant. The darts are crafted with 8 golden darts and a bucket of poison. The poison dart shooter will poison any mobs that are hit by the dart. Enchanting Holy Stone in the altar will provide a healing stone, which is a consumable that grants regeneration. Enchanting a blueberry obtained from a berry bush will provide an enchanted berry that restores a large amount of saturation. The Aether Lost Content mod adds in 3 new variants of shield also. Zanite and Gravitite can be crafted, whereas the third variant must be found in the Platinum Dungeon of the mod. Gloves are a new category of armor that can be applied in the Aether inventory. They will increase the base attack damage of the player even when punching with bare fists. They are available in every material, even the vanilla ones such as iron and diamond. Rings are a new category of wearable item that come in iron, gold, zanite, and ice. The iron and gold ones are purely cosmetic, but the zanite one allows you to mine faster, and the ice one allows you to freeze water and lava when walked on. Pendants are identical to rings and come in the same material variants, the only difference being that they are placed in the pendant slot of the Aether inventory, whereas the rings are placed in the ring slots. Capes can be made from blue, red, yellow, and white wool. They don't provide any advantage, they are purely cosmetic. Parachutes are crafted with cold air clouds, which are dropped from Zephyrs, a flying mob in the mod. Golden parachutes are crafted with golden air clouds that can be made via the use of the altar. That's all the craftable items in the mod, however there are more items that can be found by exploring in dungeons. Some of the loot items have much better properties than the craftable ones. Moving on to the mobs of the mod. Air bunnies are a passive mob found in the dimension. Air bunnies are immune to fall damage and will simply slowly float down if they fall from a high height. When right-clicked on, an air bunny will appear on the player's head. It will stay there until the player either presses left shift or dies. With one on their head, the player will not take any fall damage. Flying cows behave near identically to overworld cows, but they can glide a great distance after jumping. They can be tamed by using a saddle on them, and when tamed they won't despawn. Figs behave nearly identical to overworld pigs, but they can float down slowly after falling, the same as flying cows. This prevents them from suffering fall damage. They can be tamed by using a saddle on them, and when tamed they will not despawn. Figs can be bred with blueberries. Sheeppuff can puff high into the air like a rocket and slowly float down to the ground. Sheeppuff also puff when hit or eating food. They can be sheared for cloud wool. Sheared sheeppuff will regenerate their wool, but cannot puff while in a woolless state. Sheeppuff can be bred with blueberries. Aer whales spawn far below or above island surfaces, typically unseen by players, but can be found flying around under the bottom of islands or above them high in the sky. They don't serve really too much of a purpose, but they're just very cool to look at. Moas are large, passive avians that populate the Aether and come in a variety of colors and patterns. To get their own moa, the player must steal an egg from a wild moa nest and hatch it using the incubator. Hatched moas emerge fully grown and must be saddled before they can be ridden. Acorn plants are hostile mobs native to the Aether. Acorn plants spawn in Aether grass and in multiple groups of 1 to 3 plants. They also spawn in different sizes, and larger acorn plants have more health. Acorn plants cannot move at all, instead they attempt to shoot you with poison darts. They can be right-clicked with a bucket to get poison, which can be used to craft your own poison darts and smelted for remedy buckets. When killed, they drop acorn petals. Sweats are hostile mobs. Sweats spawn in Aether grass and may spawn in multiple groups of sweats. They are hostile and will attempt to close in on the player and attack them. Upon being attacked, they attempt to engulf you. Cockatrices are a common bird-like hostile mob. They spawn exclusively at night and may spawn in large groups, but however do not die upon day arriving. They will shoot poison darts at the player and affect them with inebriation, which causes the controls to move randomly in different directions. Zephyrs are hostile mobs that float through the sky. They can detect the player from large distances and will shoot snowballs that deal large knockback, making them pesky for players attempting to build through the Aether sky. Whirlwinds are rare hostile mobs that move about randomly. If a player gets too close to a whirlwind, it will fling them in the air. When they are killed, they drop a wide range of items and blocks. Moving on to the dungeons of the mod. Dungeons in the Aether are much more complex than in the normal world. Each of them will have a boss which has to be defeated to get the key required to open the chest located inside the dungeon boss room. Blocks which make up the main structure of the dungeon cannot be destroyed or obtained until the boss of the dungeon is defeated. The bronze dungeon is considered the easiest one to conquer. Sometimes the ceiling can be exposed to land, making it a bit easier to find. Upon entering the structure, there are usually some hallways with some chests on the way to the boss room. Only some of these chests are real, the others are mimic chests, which are hostile mobs in the mod that activate once right-clicked by the player. The boss of the dungeon will first appear as a large, strange stone block in the middle of a dark room. To activate it, you must hit it with a pickaxe, shovel, or an axe. The boss, also known as the Slider, can be killed by using a pickaxe, shovel, or axe. In its first phase, this hulking terror appears with one large blue eye on each of the 4 sides of its body. The Slider will attempt to crush you into the walls, into the floor, or even into the ceiling. In its second phase, the blue eyes turn red and its movements increase in speed. The Slider does 3 hearts of damage whenever it hits you, as well as bouncing you in the air, normally causing another half a heart of fall damage. Once defeated, the Slider will drop carved stone and a bronze key. It will also reveal a set of 4 trapdoors where it had been resting before you activated it. Below the doors, there is a locked chest. It is impossible to break the chest, the only way to unlock it is with the bronze key that the boss drops. Inside this chest, you will find several items such as a hammer of notch, Valkyrie lance, phoenix bow, Book of Lore Volume 1, lightning knives, sentry boots, and more. The silver dungeon is the second dungeon, and it looks like a giant temple with pillar blocks around it. Inside are several chests with loot, with some mimics disguising as a few of them. You will also see Valkyries which, if you fight and kill them, they will drop a victory medal upon their death. The Valkyrie Queen is the boss of the silver dungeon. She rules over the Valkyries from her throne room in the heart of the silver dungeon. She looks like other Valkyries except she only spawns in her throne room. She can do considerable damage to you, so it is advisable to have good armor and healing items. She will only fight you once you have defeated 10 Valkyries and collected their victory medals. Then, with the medals, you must right-click her. She will then tell you to fight her when you are ready, and once you strike her, the fight will begin. She is very strong and will do 3 hearts of damage with each attack. Also, she can occasionally send out orbs that, when they are out for a long time, will cause damage in the area where the orb was. Upon death, she will drop a silver key and a gold sword. A secret compartment will also open up just in front of the throne with a locked chest that can be opened with the silver key. The rewards can be considerably good, such as Valkyrie armor, Valkyrie tools, Holy Sword, Invisibility Cloak, Golden Feather, Lightning Sword, Regeneration Stone, Book of Lore Volume 2, and Valkyrie Music Disc. The Golden Dungeon is the hardest dungeon in the Aether, but it produces the best rewards by completing it. Unlike other dungeons, instead of having to venture inside the dungeon until you reach the boss room, you will go straight into the boss battle. Gold dungeons look like giant spheres floating in the air, with smaller spheres attached to the larger one. The Sun Spirit is the hardest boss in the Aether mod. To fight him, you must right-click on him. Upon right-clicking, he will talk to you, and after talking to him for a while, he will become angry. At this point, he will close off the exit and proceed to attack you. He will do so by rushing at you and/or firing fireballs into the room. He will then sometimes fire an ice ball, which you must hit back at him. When it hits him, he will turn into ice, but a smaller version of him will rush at you. He cannot be harmed by any weapons, but he will harm you by hitting you with fireballs. If you come into contact with him, you will catch on fire. He drops the gold key and the sun altar when defeated. The gold key is used to unlock the locked chest behind a secret wall in the back of the room. The dungeon chest is within the back wall and contains the best Aether treasures such as the Vampire Blade, Phoenix Armor, Shard of Life, Pig Slayer, Iron Bubble, Book of Lore Volume 3, Gravitide Armor, Cloud Staff, and the Sun Altar. And thanks to the Aether Lost Content mod, there is also a fourth structure, the Platinum Dungeon. This structure is a large tower with multiple staircases and some chests scattered around. Some of these chests are mimics, so do take caution. The treasure chest of the structure is located under the staircase. Upon reaching the top, the player will notice the Aer Whale King circling the top of the structure. At first, the boss will not attack. The player must right-click the Songstone block to begin the boss fight. The Aer Whale boss has 400 HP and will begin swooping and diving at the player, dealing 7 hearts of damage with one swoop. He will also shoot ice balls that leave a particle trail on the ground that damages the player when walking into it, similarly to the Ender Dragon's breath. Defeating the boss will grant the Platinum Key to unlock the chests for some extremely strong loot such as the Invincibility Gem, Power Gloves, the Phoenix Cape, Agility Boots, and more. That will do it for the Aether mod and the Aether Lost Content mod. As always, both mods are available to download down in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.